What it is, what it do, cyber world, it is your girl, the one and only Ash Said It, ashsaidit.com, ashsaidit.com. Welcome back to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for your love, your support, your devotion. Yes, we are on the heels of 500,000 streams worldwide. We're right there at the tipping point. I can see we're going to go ahead and knock that out soon and very soon. Today, I have the sheer pleasure and honor of having the owner of Rivulet Liqueur, the wonderful James. How are you today?
How you doing today? Fine.
I'm doing pretty good. How did you start this one-of-a-kind liquor from pecans?
Well, over the years, I had an opportunity to try a number of spirits around the world. And what I concluded was that there was not something totally American, something very unique. We have liqueurs that are Italian, like the amarettos and the frangelicas of the world. We have French liqueurs, Chambord or Grand Marnier. And so I wanted something that was more of an Americana type of spirit. So that's where I started with that concept. And then I tried to find something that was totally unique to America. And what I found when looking at this was that pecans were 95% of the pecans are grown in the United States. One reason for that is that when the United States was colonized back in the early centuries, the Europeans that came up the East Coast and the Spanish that came into the southern parts of the United States and Mexico looked at the pecan as a little ugly nut. So they never exported to Europe because they already had the English walnut. So that's the reason we've had this unique nut here in the United States.
Gotcha. You had this idea. What was the next step for you?
Well, anytime you have an idea, everybody has hundreds of ideas. And the process for ideas is first you have the idea. Then you have to reduce that idea to some type of physical form, and then you have to execute on it. And so I came up with the idea, as I already discussed, just having a nut liqueur. And then I did like most people, down in the basement, I tried on my own, just tried various formulations to come up with the right thing. And I came with some horrible tasting products. So finally I got close to one that actually worked. Then you get to the reduction of practice, which that is where you actually fine-tune it to get it to the right stage there. And to do the actual work, I obtained a small barrel and started aging in that. So with small barrel contact, you can actually accelerate the whole process rather than have a large 55-gallon barrel that you would normally have in a warehouse, in our warehouses. So I used something as small as a 1-gallon barrel to start getting the aging process correct. Now, the real trick is the execution. Now, we all have ideas. We've all reduced to practice in our small scale, either in our kitchens, our basements, or then in a laboratory. But next, you go to the execution phase where I brought in people with experts. So I moved from San Diego, California to Louisville, Kentucky, where they have all the resources in one place because of the bourbon industry here in Louisville, Kentucky. So what I did next was to bring in some great talents that they have available here. One would be Scott Reed, who has skills in marketing and the like. The other would be Brett Davis, who is a master sommelier, because I needed someone to fine-tune the taste that I've developed. Then I had another gentleman, Corey Pierce, who's an expert at blending. So all of us sat down at a table, and they tasted what I already had. Then we started fine-tuning this product. It just happens on the master sommelier standpoint, there are only 100, at that time, there were only 100 of them in the world. It just happens that one of them had lived in Louisville. So we did 180 tastings. Some of them we could eliminate real fast because they went down the wrong path. And then we got it down to 2, and then I decided on those 2. Again, with the goal to have something that was world class.
Wow, that was a crazy weekend, right? I would imagine that you guys are, having a good time. That's, tastings. All right.
We did have a good time. Of course, we had a spit bucket to get rid of some of that. But what happens, you find that your taste buds, after maybe 20 tastings or 30 tastings, actually become numb. So we have to take breaks. So it took a little longer, over a week or so, to get everything right. But it was interesting, and we came up with that perfect flavor that something would appeal to a vast majority of the world population that enjoy fine spirits.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Of course, you guys were nice enough to actually send me samples, so I was able to actually get the Rivulet experience. And I don't know, maybe because I'm a girly girl. I like sweet stuff. If it tastes like candy and it's sweetness, I'm on the team of it. What I really loved about it, it's a subtle taste. It's very toffee-like. So it reminds me of a real well-crafted just candy, like not something that you can get from a store, but something like, somebody's grandmama's in the back kitchen is up there, cooking up some good stuff for us. Something that it really tasted really homegrown and original. I'd never had anything like it before. I loved it.
Now, like many of the consumers that we found, you picked up the real subtle notes there.
Yeah.
It has an extremely clean texture. And along with, it has that toasted pecan, a little butter and orange. And that's where that toasted pecan and butter and orange come together for that toffee that you were looking at.
Yeah.
And then it has a little hint of honey to the taste. It's not, it's neither honey in there, and some baking spices to give you that whole combination of flavor. Now, not only did you enjoy it, but we've kind of had worldwide recognition in a number of double gold medals that were achieved in probably the most prestigious contest in the world is the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, where double gold is obtained when one actually wins the category, which we were in the nut category, and then all the judges have to agree that particular product deserves a gold medal, which is fairly hard to do. So in that particular year, we won double gold, and another product won double gold in the fruit category, which happened to be Grand Marnier. So that's who we were striving to be a world-class product similar to them, and that showed that we got there. But more importantly, you as one of the consumers enjoyed it as much as the judges.
Yes, I absolutely will say that. We're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Rivulet and food and some liqueurs and some cocktails and some mixes. So you guys hang tight. We'll be right back. Did you know that some foods can cause weight gain, body aches, and extreme fatigue? These are just some of the symptoms of food intolerance. Well, what is food intolerance? Food intolerance can occur when the body cannot properly digest certain foods. This can result in acid reflux, migraines, and so many other painful issues. How do you find out what foods are causing this irritation? It's easy. Pinner Test. With 500,000 satisfied clients worldwide, Pinner Test is the #1 way of identifying foods that may be causing discomfort. This simple at-home kit is easy to use with results usually within 2 weeks via email. It's that simple, all right? What are you waiting for? Go visit pinnertest.com and use my special promo code AshSaidIt for your discount today. Welcome back to the Ash Said It Daily podcast show. We appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you for supporting the movement. I'm talking today with owner of Rivulet Liqueur. So we're going to talk about Rivulet and food because my family is West Indian, so I've grown up around a whole bunch of different wines and rums and all kinds of different spirits throughout the years. With Rivulet, I noticed that I didn't need to add anything additional. It enhanced the flavors. And I noticed this when I made my mom's famous bread pudding this past weekend. And, I may have tipped a little bit of Rivulet in there, a little here and there, When it was finished and I pulled it out the oven, I may have tipped a little bit more, just, sprinkle it on top, base it real nice. I really loved it. Every time that I used it in any combination, it was perfect. It was just enough sweetness, but also enhanced the other flavors. I can't really recall another liquor that I've personally used that could do that. I also made a pound cake with it. That didn't even last within a couple of hours. Super Bowl, it was done. It was game over. It was game over before the game was over. Also, we made a salmon salad with it as well. It was incredible. It totally enhanced, and I was just amazed. I was like, wow, this really makes me want to cook more.
Excellent.
So kudos to you.
The reason you're finding that balance with Rivulet is that because we take brandy and age it in bourbon barrels for 2 years, that adds another layer of texture and sweetness to the brandy. Then when we add the essence pecans to it, that evens out the flavor profile, so that becomes more complementary.
Yeah.
Most spirits use a harsher, most liqueurs use a white spirit more similar to a vodka, that it has a little bit more edge to it that detracts from the quality of food because that comes through more than the food itself, that liquor. And if you're using bread pudding, which is more traditional, to use a bourbon, and people have to learn to like bourbon. Now, I must admit, I like being of West Indian descent. I like the rums and the bread puddings because they're a little softer, but they too have been aged in a lot of barrels, either a port wine barrel or a bourbon barrel, and so they're getting closer to the smoothness that Rivulet offers. Now, you mentioned several things that you could do with food, Sarah. If you go to our website, rivulet.com, under the culinary section, you'll find that you can make even a barbecue sauce. I know a gentleman that's a professional tour and not qualified in one category. Finally used some Rivulet, and his category was chicken. He used Rivulet on his chicken, and he actually, for the first time, placed in the top 10 in his chicken category.
Wow.
And which is significant. But he attributed his placement to the use of Rivulet. So it's something that you can cook with and enjoy. It's not something that you'll have to change your recipes to accommodate the flavor. Matter of fact, it'll be more complementary to whatever you do.
I just love the fact that it could be enjoyed just all on its own, just by itself. It's put it over some ice, or even if you just put the bottle in the freezer, let it chill for a little bit, take it out, enjoy it. Fire's going. You know, we're having crazy weather here in Georgia. So sitting over an open fire and enjoying it.
I'll be honest, I put it on 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream, just a half ounce, and just enjoy it that way. Last night, it's just I made a bananas foster using it. And it was easy to eat again. It didn't have the edge that you would have with the bourbon. Yeah. And for the show, because it's brandy based, when you light the Foster after it's caramelized, you can actually get the flame. It looked pretty as a presentation too.
Good to know. See, I'm adding this to my list here, James. Things I got to try this weekend before I go for my refill. I got to look into that. I got to get that going. What upcoming events can people look forward to?
We distribute the product in 5 states. We're concentrated in Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Indiana, and South Carolina. And with that, we have a company in California that ships across the United States. So we participate in events throughout the states. And one's coming up would be the Wine, Whiskey, and Wild in Jekyll Island in Georgia, where we'll be tasting 2,000 to 3,000 people. That's this Saturday. And then we have the Sip and Savor in Pine Mountain, California. That will be the first week in March. And they can find more information on that at our website, rivulet.com, or go straight to Sip and Savor in Pine Mountain, their website. Also, we'll be at the Charleston Food and Wine Festival. That comes up in the first week in March. You can come and join the 10,000 people that will be tasting Rivulet for the first time at that festival. And all of them are great places. Also, we have local markets where we do individual tastings at stores. Well, you can refer to our website, and in each of the states, they'll be able to identify where tastings will occur at their local retail store.
Last but certainly not least, what advice can you offer to any person out there that has a wild new idea, but maybe their friends and people close to them are telling them, no, it's too crazy, it's never been done, impossible? What advice could you offer to them today?
People stick with your gut. If you decide you want to try something, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with failing. Don't listen to people because they can never appreciate your idea until it's in the marketplace. So as I said earlier, first thing you do is 3 parts to it. First part is conception, then reduction to practice. Whatever the idea is, reduce it to some form that is physical, or if it's electronic, into an electronic format. Then the execution. So right now, when you tell a friend, that's the concept. Just be sure to then, after you reduce it to practice, the hard part is execution. And my part, you go ahead, get the best minds available, or whatever assets that you need to execute, and put those in place.
All right, James. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the program. We appreciate you so very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely. And let everybody know again the best way to get in contact and find out more about Rivulet.
Go to our website, rivulet.com. It's RIVULET.com. And if you have questions for me, you go to info, and I return those along with the rest of the team here within 24 hours. Reply there. And there's culinary information, our story of our product, medals that we received, along with other cocktails. There's 20 cocktails you can make with Rivulet online too. So,
sounds like a plan. All right, you guys. I appreciate you guys so much for your support, your love. Keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me, just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.